I usually don't do movie reviews, and probably around this time everybody's already seen it, but man, I gotta say something. I saw Mad Max Fury Road. Let me tell you something. You gotta go far to blow me away. I was blown away. I had a lot of apprehensions about seeing it. I thought, this isn't gonna be as good as the original Mad Max series, mostly Road Warrior. I thought that one was the best one. Boy, did this surpass my expectations. Beginning to end. Relentless. When I saw the trailers, a lot of colorful explosions, a little more CGI than you would expect to see, although there isn't a huge amount of that in this movie, thankfully, because the appeal of Mad Max was always that it was gritty. If you look at the original ones, a lot of dirty-looking people with teeth missing. That was the flavor of Mad Max, gritty. And this one, the trailer, it looked a little bit flashy. There's those guys swinging around on the poles like they're from Cirque du Soleil or something. Got me a little worried. I'm like, this looks a little too flashy for a Mad Max movie. That's not what that series is about. But it was done just right. George Miller, original writer-director of the series, came out of retirement. I guess he wasn't really retired. I mean, you look at the other movies he was doing before, the last Mad Max, Beyond Thunderdome in 1985, long fucking time ago at this point. But the movies he was doing was like Happy Feet and a bunch of Disney stuff. Then he comes back to doing the Mad Max thing. I mean, full throttle. This thing, man, it gets right into it. Gets right into the action, and it just does not stop. And he really took a big chance doing this movie. I think the biggest chance he took was Charlize Theron. She's this hot, blonde, very pretty, almost like a supermodel chick. And when I saw that she was in it, and I saw the trailer with the sort of, model-looking sex slaves that they're helping to escape from, this villain, Immortan Joe, played by the same guy who played the toe cutter in the first Mad Max movie. You don't know it's him. He's got this mask on. What a get-up they got going on with this guy. Taking a big chance with Charlize Theron. Like, how's that going to work? Really? Is she going to be convincing in this? She was more than convincing. She dominated this movie. I mean, Mad Max was almost like playing a sidekick in his own movie. I mean, she was very rugged, tough kind of chick, but also very relatable. The acting was very convincing. And I think she was the real star of this movie. And she really pulled it off well. And George Miller, who's now 70, and I hope this guy lives to be 1,000 years old at this point. I mean, hats off. 4 fucking stars. No question. If you're a fan of Mad Max, as myself, this will not disappoint you. You will be impressed. Remains true to the spirit of the original. Plot, pretty lean. Just sort of an escape story. People trying to escape the clutches of, this dictator-like villain. And like I said, what a get-up with the gas mask and oh my God. And people follow him like he's the Ayatollah Khomeini, like he's got this army of, worshippers and followers, these guys ready to destroy themselves, blow themselves up in the heat of battle so they could reach Valhalla. I mean, really, suicide bombers. The whole thing, just people, it was just a relentless movie. He took some real weird chances with this movie when the war party's going and you see these thousands of vehicles and, right on the front with some vehicle with dudes pounding drums and giant speakers. There's a dude, playing electric guitar while you've got this armada of just vehicles and just crazy looking fucking people ready to kick major ass. Very menacing. And Tom Hardy is Max instead of Mel Gibson. Hey, Max is a man of few words. He was never a guy who said a lot of stuff. He's sort of an archetype character. The drifter. The guy who doesn't say very much. pulled it off beautifully, convincingly. But like I said, Charlize Theron, I think she was the major in that movie. She was more the identifiable heroine that the audience can relate to. You know, trying to save other people from a savage world and all this other stuff. I'm not going to give away the ending, but apparently the Mad Max franchise is alive and well. They're kind of pulling a James Bond. You know, instead of Sean Connery, you've got a Roger Moore. You know, of course, this is more seamless. There's not very much difference in the portrayal of Mad Max by Mel Gibson and by Tom Hardy. The roles are pretty much interchangeable. It's done perfect. The look is there. They both kind of look alike. Usually I don't go in for action movies because they're a little too shallow, a little too unbelievable. Is there some moments of suspension of disbelief is required? Well, there's a lot of violence. A lot of people in this movie are just crack shots. You know, with you're on a moving vehicle, you're going 100 miles an hour, you stick your arm out a window, and boom, clean headshot. People are just crack shots in this movie. You know, a lot of violence. You know, come on, it's Mad Max. What do you expect? Almost too much action, almost a little much overkill. Rarely a quiet moment in this movie, but the whole movie's just a big ass car chase. When you get right down to it, it's just the whole movie is just one chase, an escape scene. Really excellent. I gotta say it. A lot of extras in this movie. A lot of thousands and thousands of people. Very biblical. You've got this dictator-like villain with this, you know, almost Darth Vader-esque kind of gas mask with the breathing, and he's the savior of these people, and they're all, you know, it's a big movie. It's big. And that's what I was worried about. It's like, well, this movie's probably going to be a little too big, a little too Hollywood for Mad Max. Wrong. It was perfect. Couldn't have been done better. I salute you, George Miller. And apparently he's going to do more movies. Apparently this franchise, I looked it up, you know, there's other ideas going on, and they're going to keep doing this. And it's rumored that Charlize Theron as Furiosa is going to be a reoccurring character, possibly in the next movie as well. So we've got a lot to look forward to, at least I do. Having not been to the movies in many fucking years, not having the time, not having a lot of money. A friend of mine just said, hey, I'm going to go see this movie, let's go. Big screen treatment. Well worth seeing in the movie theater. Well worth it, believe me. So go see this movie if you haven't. Trust me. And pretty much that's all I got to say. Over and out.